But I can still remember at the time when one of my favorite courses in college was government and business. And I can remember this because it was the spring of 2003. And I remember sitting in a lecture hall and listening to people talk about, we have to go to Iraq to bring people their freedom. And I'm thinking, I'm 19 years old and I know that this is all bullshit. I know it's bullshit. Wow. There is no way that anyone can convince me that there is any justification to this. Regardless of what happened on 9/11, you have to be able to put, the pieces together and recognize that this is a military-industrial complex, money grab, land grab, whatever you want to call it.
They all are.
And what's going on right now in Ukraine is something that could have ended very, very quickly.
It's something that could have never had to have started.
Correct. But for some reason, and I'll give Scott Pelley of 60 Minutes credit for this, and we're going to show the clip now. This was a very mask-off moment for President Zelensky last night. He basically said unequivocally, there will be no negotiation whatsoever with Vladimir Putin.
We're not getting the whole story to this, people. Please know that.
100%. So here we go.
Can you give up any part of Ukraine for peace? No. This is our territory. You must have it all, including Crimea.
Сьогодні ми з вами, ви мені про це сказали, ви бачили, я нагороджував людей.
Today, you and I, you said it to me. You saw me awarding people medals. Well, today is a day like that. A week ago, I gave awards to parents of soldiers who have been killed. There were 24 families of the dead. There was a woman, she was with 3 children. There were parents, very old, they could barely walk, and they had had only one son. One of the women was pregnant. She arrived holding a baby in her arms, and she was pregnant. And that baby will never see. What should I tell them? That all of them died so that we could say, it's okay, Russia, you can take it all.
Це складна місія, розумієте, да. Нагороджувати.
It's a difficult job. You understand me, right? Giving awards to people whose faces show their whole world has collapsed. And all I can give them,
Це перемога.
Is victory.
I could vomit. If that does not scream pro-war propaganda, it just, I don't know what does. And by the way, I don't think it's a coincidence that I've been noticing a lot of Army recruitment, the recruitment commercials on TV lately down here. A lot of them. So, and I don't think that's a coincidence, but yeah, I mean, these people cannot beat the war drums loud enough.
And he ran as the peace candidate when he was running for office. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, the hard thing to recognize that I think a lot of people who are very privileged and in their, their assessment of what is actually going on there, everyone is going to say that Putin invaded. Yes, he did. There is no question that that happened. But the idea that you want to pretend that nothing happened prior to that he was completely unprovoked, that there was no mitigating circumstance that led to this happening is absolutely lunacy. But that also speaks to the ignorant. Listen, most Americans are ignorant of domestic politics. You can times that by 100 when it comes to foreign politics. We are only given a small smidgen of truth about what actually goes on. But what President Zelensky actually did there is one of the more mask-off moments that anyone is ever going to see. Now, how they're going to break that down, I don't know. But he said unequivocally, there is no negotiation with Vladimir Putin. There is only victory or nothing. So what he's saying is, I'm willing to kill every one of our people in order to prevent any type of negotiation, because this is, in my opinion, probably not his call. This is probably NATO's call, and this is what they've basically instructed him to do.
They stuck him there.
I feel for the people of Ukraine, the people that are suffering in that country that have no business to be suffering, whatever the reasons are. Whether it's because of the resources that are in Western Ukraine that are in the trillions of dollars, whether it is cobalt, whether it is wheat, whether it's, I believe, fossil fuels.
Hey guys, recommendation, Medea Benjamin's recent book that came out is called The War in Ukraine. It's short, it's sweet, it explains, it does the backstory back to like 2006, it goes to Crimea, the Minsk, I can never say that right, the Minsk II agreement that nobody seems to be following, that nobody's talking about that history. Again, nothing happened out of nowhere. Okay, Putin is he's some crazy monster. He's an oligarch that's into imperialism like they all are. But I mean, it's like that. You have to know the history. Nobody knows it.
And we don't go on the show talking about, oh, they're arming Nazis and this and that. And listen, unless you're on the ground, you don't have any clue as to what's going on. But you know what I do know is going on the ground over there? I know that BlackRock and Vanguard are fortifying their positions with their multi-billion-dollar contracts, because it's a shell game. There is
maybe
nothing
it's just a
like
coincidence.
Yeah,
it's just a coincidence, and yeah,
and everyone's just going to pretend like that's not what's going on. And to me, it's like the longer you allow this, the only reason that this doesn't end is because of the money that's involved in this. But at the end of the day, if the president of this country is telling you that we're not stopping, that we'll kill another 500,000 people of our own people if we have to, then that's what's going to happen. I don't know how people are not losing their mind over this right now. But the propaganda is very real in this country, as you cover every day with what you watch in mainstream media. It's very real how people get propagandized into thinking that this is simply acceptable.
No, 100%. It's sad to see how in my personal life I could see like a mother-in-law or a cousin or a sister would go right along with the CNN talking points, right? And then on the other hand, I know people who know about the history of the CIA and the history of this, and they know that something has to change, and then they'll go vote for Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders, with that knowledge. So I think it's all about political education, and shows like yourself, shows like other independent media. We're going to have to get stronger and reach the masses to be able to really put a dent. And the good news is I think we're getting there. Cable news is going down in ratings every year, and I'm hoping that we will be able to see a change in this area.
Yeah, I mean, as we see older people dying off, basically boomers dying off, like the generation, the amount of people that watch those shows is just gonna just keep going down. They're not gonna keep getting a lot of viewers. They're kind of gonna dwindle. And then it's going to be sort of a free-for-all for information, which in some ways is good and in some ways is bad. But, it's just one of those, it's a necessary thing of having like free discourse.
The scary thing is that capitalism does know how to adapt. That's one thing about capitalism throughout all the various years. So we see like they try CNN Plus, but that didn't work out. And then they're trying different streaming apps. But they do, and now what's working for them is having influence or trying to gain influence over a lot of these big tech. That's why we had the Twitter files. That's why you hear about the Facebook file. And they influence them to, censor that person, throttle that person. I know my Twitter account is getting throttled, definitely. So they find ways to like stifle dissent. But I think that we're going to break through. I'm optimistic that something's going to break through.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.